Phails at philosophy.
It gets confusing, man. A lot of things they say in here are confusing, and I have to read over and over again. Whether it's status of knowledge, valid or not, is determined by the status of the object known and vice versa. And it took me a while to understand that. But what I landed with, and I'm just going to be willing to fail here, is that the object is only known through the existence of a knower, of me.
Yeah.
So there can't be object knowledge without someone observing, someone thinking about the object.
Right. No, I mean, this is something that when you dig into kind of the hollowed corners of philosophy, you'll encounter, something that seems as straightforward as an object is actually very difficult to get at. What is an object? And especially he kind of identifies it with rationalist traditions.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd say it's rationalism per se, although I think there's a certain kind of psychologism, at least here, right? Mm-hmm. That objects are constituted by the act of knowing, right? That there is no object out there.
It's kind of this, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, to some extent. Right, yeah, because it and initially that seems like, oh yeah, of course it does. But
you need something, you need an observer for there to be something observed.
Right. And we're not saying when a tree falls in a woods.
It certainly puts out a frequency, but nothing captures that frequency.
That experience of sound doesn't occur.
And the truth is, it doesn't make a sound.
Right. And I think when you think about color,
it's got to be picked up by some collector of the frequency for there to be sound. Only exists within the context of an ear. It's just wavelengths, right?
Right, exactly. Exactly. Although even the concept of wavelengths is its own kind of highly rarefied object we've created as part of our knowing.
So this is another object, right?
Yeah. Hume, I think, gets at this in a way that is helpful. He's a Scottish philosopher, Enlightenment philosopher. When he tries to figure out what happens when we know, he says, look, we basically have two kinds of knowledge, right? We have impressions, two types of thoughts that we can think of as thoughts about the world. Mm-hmm. We have impressions, and we have relationships of ideas, right? And that's kind of parallels
rationalism and imperialism. That's rationalism and perception.
Right. Yeah. It's concepts and perceptions.
The experience of something through our senses versus
And so
logic and ideas.
Yeah. And I think, and we see that from the Buddhist tradition. We see that. But he says, well, let's break this down even further. We have simple representations within our relationships of ideas, let's go back to impressions. We have simple impressions and we have complex impressions, right? And simple impressions are the raw sensory input.
Simple impressions are the experience of something.
The experience itself, right?
Something, the pins in my hand.
And then we generate ideas from those, and then we put those into relationship with each other, and then we have complex impressions. Well, by the time we get to complex impressions, we're already in a conceptual world. And you think about something as easy as like holding an apple and saying, I'm holding an apple. Already a red apple, right? Already you're engaging
words.
All these words that are
holding
these apple, generalities,
you're
right?
Beyond experience.
Right. You're beyond experience. And everything is like that. The minute you begin to conceptualize through language, you're stepping away from that raw experience.
You're in conceptual. You're reasoning. You're putting it in relation to other things.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.